Hi everyone, welcome to the next episode in this page from Small Victories by Johanna Basford using the Arteza Expert pencils. And we have this colour cube today, 264. So we have a mixture of sort of blues and browns. It's quite an interesting card, I think. So let's turn it over, grab our swatch chart and see where we're at. So the first colour we're looking for is this teal. Now I feel that jade green there, which is in a very odd place on this swatch chart, is probably a good one for that. So I'm going to grab that one. Then this one's called mint. To me that looks more like a teal. So we're looking for a sort of bluey green. We're a little bit short of colours like that. We've got this sort of shamrock green or a turquoise. I'm tempted to go for the shamrock green. If you disagree and want the turquoise, go for it. I don't think there's a huge difference. And then we've got this sage, which is more of a grey green, isn't it? Looks very much like a polychromos earth green. We do have the sage green here, which we've already used for the teal. So, no, I'm lying. We should have used the jade green there. I got the wrong one out. How about? Am I getting myself in a confused mess? Hang on, sorry. There, so here is the jade green, which we were going to use for the teal. And we can use the sage green for the sage. So let's go through that with you again, just so that I'm hopefully not confusing you. So the jade green here for the teal, the shamrock for the mint, and the sage for the sage. Then we have a colour called tangerine. But this is quite browny green. I think that looks much more like the cinnamon than any of our oranges. So I'm going to use the cinnamon for that. And lastly we have this colour called caramel. And I'm thinking that looks quite like this sienna brown. You could use your burnt ochre, but I think and the sienna brown is quite dark. I think the burnt ochre is a bit close to the cinnamon, so I'm going to use the sienna brown. So just to go through those again: sage green, shamrock green, jade green, cinnamon and sienna brown is what we're going to use. It's going to be a very interesting one. We'll see how we get on. So let's come in close. We have a few bits of greenery to do, but not many. We've just got quite a typical house, really. Oh, maybe a bit close. There we go. So our greenest colour is probably our sage green. So I'm going to use that for the plants. Okay, give it a sharpen, and that's where I'm going to start. There we go. So sage green. And let's do these little plants. Now you don't, of course, have to do the plants in a green, but that's what my brain tells me to do. It helps me choose which colour am I doing for which as well, because it seems to make sense. Then that one and this little bit here. So there's all the green, really straightforward. Okay, so we've got jade and shamrock and we've got the browns. So what are we going to do? How are we going to work this out? I'm thinking I'm going to use the shamrock for the house. I think it's going to be really pretty, and we'll see where we go from there. So this is our shamrock green, which is a sort of, I think they call it mint on the card, but it's like a bluey greeny colour. So I'm just going to get started. Look at that. I think it's lovely. There we go. and we'll do the next bit. So all the sort of rendered housey bits. Now render of course means a completely different word in art. In art it means coloured, but on buildings it means you've got some sort of plaster almost. It's not plaster because outdoors I think it's usually a type of cement on the outside that you then paint. Wow, imagine having a house this colour. You might need planning permission. There's a lovely street in a town near me where an artist has painted all the houses to try and make the street look nicer. It's unfortunately the street, it's not in my town luckily, is known for crime. So I think I'm just going to do the tops of the bricks like that. So the idea was to paint the houses to just make living there feel a bit more jolly. But there was quite a nasty crime there recently, but I'm hoping that it's reduced the amount and has helped people feel better living there, you know. I mean, obviously, even if the area is known for crime, it doesn't mean everyone who lives there is like that. So they want something nice, and they might not be able to choose where they live because, you know, they might not be able to afford to live anywhere else. So I do think it's rather nice to try hard and make it a nice place to be, you know. Well, I guess we can all do that about where we live, whether it's already nice or not. I was very excited this morning because there's a lay-by opposite our square where anybody can park, and there'd been a car parked in there for months and months, and it looked like it had just been dumped, but it had been MOT'd, which is a type of legal test that cars have to have yearly in order to show they're roadworthy. If they fail their MOT, I'm going to now use the jade green to do some of the I'm going to do the wood, like this bit, and the doors. If they fail, then they can be towed away, but because they had their MOT, then they couldn't be, so they just had to sit there, and it was a bit annoying seeing something like that. But it had gone this morning, so that was exciting. It had been there so long there were weeds growing around it, you know. We do have another car like that, but we know who it belongs to, and they don't want to move it, so we can't do anything. It's on private land. I'm going to do that bit there, and then I'm going to return to my shamrock green and do the chimney. Sorry, there you go. Just blind you. Whee! Blind. I'm sorry if you've got a headache. I'm in a playful mood, apparently. And then this bit. Now we have our roof to do, and so I need to turn to my other two colours, and it's a bit scary, isn't it? We've got the sienna brown and the cinnamon. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. And which was the darkest? I'm just going to check out my swatch. Oh, there they are, next to each other. I think I'm going to use the cinnamon for most of it. Excuse me. Let's see if it works. It's just not. Would you ever think of putting these colours together? Would you? Maybe you would. I certainly wouldn't. Now this windowsill, I don't know whether to do it this colour. I think I might. But we'll get there. We'll finish this bit first. So I'm not doing anything very special on the roofs. The thing with these pictures is they're very, very small. So trying to do lots of fiddly details, shading and things like that is quite difficult. So I think it's easier just to enjoy the picture and pretty much block in most of it. And then, as we've done over the last couple of days, we can use our black just to create a little bit of impact of shade without making it overly complicated. and it's a little bit easier than trying to worry about layering up different colours and things like that, which is quite tricky on such a small picture. And I think just using these colour cube cards just makes it a bit of fun, a little bit different, and we don't need to necessarily do all the shading thing as well. You know, as much as I like doing it, trying to get it into a space like this can be quite tricky, especially when my eyes keep watering like they are doing. I don't know why they are misbehaving. Now I think I'm going to sharpen up and just go around these tiles a little bit, just to make them look a tad more interesting. There we go. Now if you don't have the Arteza, I should have said this in my first video, but I'm a bit rubbish at remembering to say these things. I do have comparison charts, so you can find the equivalent colours, or you can just guess and find something really similar. You know, for this one, you know, if I was using my polychromos, this is like the cobalt green, and this is like the cobalt deep cobalt green, and then these are more like maybe a terracotta and sienna brown, possibly something like that. There we go. I've got any more? Oh yeah, I knew there was one more and I couldn't remember. Here it is, lurking. Now we've got a doormat or doorstep here. I have a think about that, but I'm going to grab the sienna brown and finish off some of these roof details that I've missed. In fact, I think there's only one. This one here, sorry, sienna brown. I didn't blind you this time. Now I have to decide whether to use this for the windowsill or use the green. I think I'm going to use this, just because it feels like it matches better within the context of the roof. I'm also going to use this colour for the door. Now we do have a door handle and a letterbox here, which I'm just going to colour over because they are so small. It's quite tricky, and I'm going to do all the flower pots this colour. Now I'm going to do the windows the same as yesterday. May or may not remember. So I used the black. Now I know the black isn't in our list of colours, but I've sort of put it by as a colour that I can use on these videos, because when I want to do some shading and things like that, it's just useful. I've also got the white handy, but I don't think I'm necessarily going to use that. Now I also want to use this for the doorstep. There we go. And now I'm going to use it to just put a little bit of shadow in. So down the side of here and under there, and then there, under this one, and there. Might put a little bit under there and under that roof as well, maybe under that windowsill. And then we just got to go around this, like this little porch, isn't it? Like that. Let me see. I'm not sure whether to put anything around these. I think I probably won't. So let's come across and look at it in context of the colour cube card. I need to come out a tad so I don't have to cover up half the picture. There we go. So that's the house with the card next to it. I haven't matched it brilliantly, but I quite like it, I have to say. I was unsure, but I do like it. So there is that one done. That was quite quick, wasn't it? I think it was, yeah. I find that once I know what colours I'm using, it can make it much quicker than if not, if I'm umming and ahhing. Although this page, when I did it originally, I just made them all the same colours as each other and made it so quick. But anyway, that is me for today. Tomorrow I've got a whole different set of colours, interesting colours. So we'll see what we'll do with that. I'm already pondering and distracted looking at that. But but thank you for watching today. Hope that you enjoy the rest of your day and happy colouring.